Today we're back here at the Euchee Butterfly Farm in Leonard, Oklahoma, just south of Tulsa. And joining me is Jane Breckenridge. And Jane, we've visited your farm in a few different instances. Yep. But today I want to talk about the homeowner that might be rearing butterflies. As a professional butterfly producer, tell us a little bit of some tips, pros and cons of that.
It's the same for everybody. And so it's about clean, healthy food. It's the same as for people too, right?
Right.
And so one of the things that I tell people, one of the easiest things we can all do to get started is create a non-toxic zone in your yard or garden.
Okay.
So this is, I've had people tell me they created butterfly gardens and they didn't have any butterflies, and I ask if they're spraying poison, and they're like, well, yeah, just to kill the ugly bugs. So, right. So there are no ugly bugs as far as our butterflies are concerned. So if you can do nothing else, do a non-toxic zone. But beyond that is you need to think about, what are you hoping to attract? Or do you want adult butterflies? Then you need nectar plants. Do you want to actually see the whole life cycle? Then you've got to have host plants for the appropriate butterflies for where you live.
Right, because butterflies are very specific. They are good at plant ID, right?
Yeah, they are. And fun fact, they actually taste with their feet.
Oh, okay.
And they smell with their antennae. So when that mama butterfly is looking for where to lay her eggs, 200 to 400 eggs, she's going to taste with her feet and make sure it's the right plant that her offspring can, because they come out, they're only little tiny eggs, and they can't crawl a long distance. So she's going to be able to tell by landing on it. She doesn't need an app to ID what there. She can tell. So thinking about having, milkweeds for the monarchs, thinking about parsley, dill, fennel for the eastern black swallowtails. You could do some passion vine, some pipe vine. Those are all beautiful, beautiful local species.
So, Jane, what about the sugar water sometimes I see out in the gardens?
Yeah, so here at the farm, we use Gatorade.
Oh.
Actually, red Gatorade.
Okay.
And they will nectar on it. And it's junk food, sort of. But you know what? In a pinch, it will do. And
okay.
So, yeah, it's got the salts and the sugars and everything they need. If there's good nectar sources, they won't come to that. But if there's not, hey, it'll do.
Okay. And one of the important things is the season extension, to have those nectar plants throughout the seasons, right?
Right. And so we want to make sure, because, when those butterflies are first coming out, a lot of the spring, some are overwintering as adults, and they're coming out and they're so hungry. They've not eaten all winter. And so if you can plan your bloom times, if you can just be a little mindful when you're doing your garden planning to make sure that you've got blooming plants all the way through the season. Okay. And it's particularly important in the fall, because as the monarchs migrate through,
right,
they have got to really nectar up, because not only do they have to fly up to 3,000 miles, sometimes up to 70 miles a day, they have got to get enough fat resources to live all winter long on that fat. They won't feed all winter through overwintering grounds.
Okay.
So everybody in Oklahoma needs to do their part to make sure that those guys have got enough nutrition as they pass through.
We're the last pit stop before they get to Mexico.
If they fail, it's on us.
Okay, all right. So essentially, they're migrating back through in late September, October?
Yeah, mid to late September, depending on the year.
All right. So what about people that are rearing them? They might have seen them in their garden. They bring them into one of those cages. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's probably not going to help save monarchs,
okay,
like is the whole population. But what it does is I think it gives people a really amazing experience to better understand monarchs. Mm-hmm. So I personally, I'm fine with doing it. And you are, so less than 5% of monarch eggs in the wild actually make it to adult butterflies. Most of them go into the food web. That's nature. But, it's just, it's sad to watch them get parasitized. So I enjoy bringing them in. That's actually how we got started butterfly farming over 30 years ago, is bringing them in.
Okay. So you're saving one starfish at a time, essentially.
That's exactly what we're doing. And also just having one of the most miraculous experiences. So, but if you are going to do that, got to make sure they've got plenty of food and keep them clean. Take out the frass every day. Don't handle them with your hands, or if you do, use gloves.
Okay. And do they need water?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for this information.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.